Ladies and gentlemen, I am on tour right now. Live comedy is back. I'm going across the country and New Zealand in 2022, and I want to see you there. I want to make you laugh. I want to make you smile, and I want to offend you. Head to isaacbutterfield.com/tickets right now, okay? That's where you need to go get your tickets. They are selling out fast. Live stand-up comedy is back. The Buttsman is back, and I am absolutely pumped to come to your part of the world. G'day, you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here. Hope you're doing well. Now, we should all know by now that you do not fat shame women. No. Very bad. It's amazing to see how positive people are about putting on weight, particularly if you're a female. There is no shaming at all. This video right here had so many comments about how brave and wonderful she was just because she put on weight during COVID. Good on you, love. You're killing life. I'm sure the rest of your existence will be very easy. But here is my biggest issue with the body positivity, anti-fat phobia movement is it's only for women. Because ladies will sit there all day and say, no, you've got to love me. You've got to love me even if I'm a big fat fuck. But if you're a dude and you're a big fat giant fuck and you go, nah, come on ladies, grab a piece of me meat. They go, no, that's gross. I want a bloke with a six pack or a much skinnier body. And they're allowed to say that, but you're not allowed to have a preference to have a fitter looking human. Okay, fair enough. But you know what? I actually don't think it's such a bad thing that men are fat shamed. I think you should, as a man, be fat shamed. Not all the time, and by shame, I don't mean people ridicule you constantly, okay? This is a different version of shame, and the reason there is a different version of shame is how people basically define fat shaming. Fat shaming to me is very different. If I run around calling you a fatty fuck stick, and I've never met you before, that's fat shaming, all right? If your father walks up to you and grabs onto your love handles and goes, that's a fucking weird thing. It grabs onto your love handles and go, Jesus Christ, you're fucking huge, love. Maybe that happens in Tasmania, a bit of dad on daughter action, not bad. That's fat shaming. But just suggesting that someone might need help, or do you need help losing weight, or maybe it's time to sort of, drop a few kegs, that is not. And I think that it is important that some men, particularly the obese ones, hear that they need to lose weight. For some reason, fat shaming men is absolutely fine. It's the equivalent of picking something up off the floor and eating it after 3 seconds. But to fat shame a woman, it's the equivalent of basically leading the Nazis to power. You're basically Hitler. And body positivity is a nice idea because we all have things we're ashamed of with our bodies. Like, I've got a fucking hairline that is questionable. I have my epilepsy issues that I really, really hate. I've got anxiety issues that I hate because of the epilepsy issues. There's all things we're really embarrassed about. And that's body positivity. If you've got an arm that fucking goes up like that all the fucking time, every time you walk in the street, like doing these ones like that, you should be shamed for that. But being obese is dangerous, number one, and it is something you can change. So should you be shamed for that? Sure, why not? Let's make an abrasive video. You should be shamed if you're slightly overweight. Now, there are some men trying to push the message of anti-fat phobia and body positivity like this guy, but honestly, most people look at him and go, shut your stupid fucking face, mate. And I get it, not everyone is jacked because they're not on steroids. Not everyone is skinny because they don't train every day or eat really healthy. I understand the average body is actually quite large, but that is not necessarily a good thing. We know that 50% of the Australian population is overweight or obese. So that's not good. That means there are so many people that need to change, and constantly pushing this message that it's okay to be obese and it won't harm your life is fucking ridiculous. Yet, as male eating disorders and body image concerns escalate, surely it's time men followed the lead of women and started championing diverse shapes. Rather than mocking dad bods, shouldn't we be celebrating big boys? No, we shouldn't be celebrating that. Why would you celebrate that? Do you celebrate a fucking meth junkie? Then why would you celebrate a food junkie? I guess the real question here is, do women handle criticism differently to men? Are men able to handle criticism and do something about it? And are women too weak to handle the criticism? Because that seems to be what the argument is here. You can't say that about a woman, or you can't say that. Bullshit. Women are as tough as fucking men. They can handle this shit, and sometimes they need to hear it. It's nicer if people are helping them with criticism that is actually constructive rather than just attacking them or whatever, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you need to hear something like a hard truth. The harmful and insidious effects of fat phobia. Fact, the world can be a hostile place for people on the higher end of the weight spectrum. Weight spectrum? Fuck up, Stephanie Gogloff, you goose. Our goal here is not to tell you how to think, eat, or live, nor is it to pass judgment on how you choose to nourish your body, but rather to start a conversation about diet culture, its impact, and how we might challenge the messages we are given about what makes us attractive, successful, and healthy. Listen, diet culture is a whole nother thing. I should do a video on fucking diet culture, but the idea behind diet culture is we shouldn't push people to have to diet. But you wouldn't have to diet if the diet culture wasn't just a culture, it was actually how we all lived our lives, eating nice things that are delicious and healthy for us and not eating too much of it. Basically, the way to defeat diet culture is for us to all not be fat all the time. Fat phobia is less overtly mean and is instead cloaked in concern for the fat person. How dare people be concerned? Your mum clipping articles about how being at a higher weight causes worse COVID-19 complications. It's actually more complicated than that. No, it's fucking not. Secondly, that's a bullshit opinion from 2020. Back in 2020, that was a conspiracy theory that if you were overweight, you were more likely to die from the Rona. Now we know, well, we knew it then too, but now that the mainstream has accepted it, we know, and everyone knows, that it is severely likely to increase your chances of death if you are overweight. Okay, if you're under the age of 65, it is the #1 comorbidity from the Rona. The amount of fat cells that you have in your body directly correlates to the cytokine storm that happens in your body, and that's gonna fuck up every fucking organ in your body. Now that we know that, fuck you, Christy Harrison. What is fat phobia exactly? Well, fat phobia is the fear and hatred of fat bodies. I know I am very scared of fat bodies. When I go to sleep, sometimes I have bad dreams, and there's just big, fat, chubby fucks chasing me down the street, trying to force donuts into my asshole, and I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that is some terrifying shit. Like other forms of discrimination, fat phobia causes harm in multiple ways. Below are some examples of how people in bigger bodies have been shown to be harmed by fat phobia. Women earn less when they gain weight. Yes, because they have to fit in more snack breaks. How to fight fat phobia. Drop the diet talk. Don't comment on people's bodies. Keep unsolicited health advice to yourself. Fucking Jesus Christ. Could you imagine the people that are actually reading this going, yeah, this is really good. This is really good information. Here's what I think. Big fat shame sucks, whether you're a male or a female. Okay, it sucks. And I have experienced it through my younger years. I was a fat kid from about the age of 12 to probably 22. The biggest I got was 134 kilos. I then went on a ketogenic diet, lost a fuck ton of weight, got down to 94, which is probably a bit too small for my size. I'm 6'8", and then I'm sitting right now at about 103 kilos. That isn't where I want to be. I want to stay at this weight, but I want to lose a little bit more fat around the midsection. But the point is that I wouldn't have got to this point. I would never have got to this point if I was never made fun of. Sometimes we need stimulus for growth. Much like fertilizing a plant, if you fertilize someone's mind, oftentimes with things they don't want to hear, it can make them grow. In this case, shrink. I'm passionate about this shit. When I was a kid, I used to pick up everything and eat fucking everything, and I'd eat chocolates and hide the wrappers in the fucking pot in the middle of the lounge room and all this type of stuff. I was in a bad trajectory. I was on the trajectory of being super obese later on in my life. I was bullied about my fat guts. I was called Isaac Butterfield. People picked on me all the time, and it hurt. But I knew within myself that if I could just find the tools to change that I would be a happier person. And it's not going to change your life, but it is definitely on the right way to helping you become a better version of the fat slob that you are now. Fat shaming hurts. It hurts people. It really does. But you know what hurts more? The fact that we don't get education about what to do if we are overweight. That topic is just avoided. We were told that you just need to exercise more if you're overweight. We weren't told anything about what a bad diet is. We were never told simple things like, hey, what are calories? What do you need to do with your calories if you're overweight? You need to cut them down. You need to eat less calories than you are expending. You know what? We never had this explained to us. We never had to explain to us that being an adult is hard. Finding time is hard. Having enough time to make a healthy meal and go to the gym is fucking hard. But it is doable. If you allow time for it, if you make time for it, you can do it just like anybody else. If you are not happy with your body right now, this is a message for you. This year is our fucking year, okay? Last year I was able to learn how to run 10 kilometers, all right? This year I want to run further. This year I want to increase all my lifts at the gym. So I want to be a fitter person of myself, I want to run farther, and I want to be able to show off my rig at the end of the year and be proud of it for the first time. What we're going to do is we're all going to join gyms, we're going to eat healthy, and I want to know about your updates. I want to know, send them to me on Instagram at the Buttsman. I want to know how you are going. And I want to see us all in summer and December here in Australia or wherever you are in the world. I want us to look back at the last 12 months and think to ourselves, we are better than when we started. Be a good motherfucker. Ladies and gentlemen, peace in the Middle East. Media extinct. Toodaloo, au revoir. Bye bye.